Today, we are going to be looking at some amazing systems that we've put together that aren't going to totally break the bank. In the world of hi-fi, if you want something that is, just has that amazing two-channel sound, has the weight, the warm, analog kind of feel, and amazing build quality, it's pretty tough. There's a lot of cheaper options that maybe don't have the best longevity or build quality or even sound, maybe some noise, but we have kind of picked a few products and put them together in some systems that we would like to show you. I think that there is a lot of synergy with these systems, and I think that they really outperform the price point when you put it all together. So a little bit of our expertise to kind of help you put together a phenomenal setup that isn't crazy expensive. We will start with the amp, and this is a great example of a modern day receiver that is still going to give you a really good warm two-channel sound. This in particular is the Yamaha RN1000. They have a whole line of their receivers. It starts at the 600, there's the 800, the 1000, the 2000 above it. Anywhere you end up in that line, it's just a great value if you want to go for the 2000 with the full-on just amp with the big caps, but that's not really what this video is about. It's more about things like the 1000 and even the 800 is a great value. What you're getting with these is a great preamp, a great 100 watt Class AB amp, as well as streaming. That's all built in. You can see in the bottom of this screen, for this model, they have it at the bottom where you go through all of the analog inputs, the digital inputs, there's a phono stage, and a lot of services are built in to connect to. So if you don't have any source material, getting something like a modern day receiver, you'll be able to listen to something on day one and you can expand it from there. Yamaha has been in the two-channel game for a long time. You go back to, we have a CR3020 out now, which is a huge receiver. That's from the 70s, great unit. They brought back the aesthetics of the amps they were putting out at that time with all the dials. You have the loudness knob like you did back in the day. And this is just a good example of when you're finding something that is a little bit less expensive, going with a brand that understands the heritage and has the history of two-channel is usually gonna get you to a better place. It's just better sound. They just know what they're doing. The big thing for me with cheaper two-channel is it just doesn't have that warmth of the weight. You're absolutely gonna get that here. For the speakers, I'll say that the Yamaha, anything in their line, I find that it pairs really well with KEF speakers. Yamaha has that natural sound, which is clean and transparent, but a little bit warmer than just, your clean digital analytical sound. It's smoother, a little bit of an accentuated mid-range. I find that you run them into some KEF speakers, they're known for more just transparency. The sound that you get is just a really immaculate, clean sound. I think that both Yamaha and KEF have a phenomenal sound stage, so it's really just gonna fill the room, wrap around you. It's very immersive and just clean, and the word I always think of is immaculate. I do think that the sum is a little bit greater than the parts in this case. The KEF Q series is a great way when you're getting into hi-fi to get yourself a really nice system that is very clear, big sound stage, and gives you an immersive, clean sound. The Q series is really, it's a phenomenal deal. You can start at the 150s, 350s, 550s, 750s. These are the 950s, so these are the biggest ones. It's a three-way speaker with the tweeter in the middle, mid-range, and then you have an active woofer here with two passive radiators around it. So the Q950s, great room filler for the price, very clear, and they're actually on sale now, which gets them even more in the intermediate, affordable place that we're trying to be at. A lot of the things that I look for in a turntable, a lot of it is kind of more aesthetic, which is kind of lame, but you want it to have that old school vintage vibe. It's going in the home, it's got to look good. There are plenty of DJ style turntables. The price and the sound, it's a really good way to go. But if you do want something that's going to blend in with old school looking hi-fi setup a little bit, something like the Music Hall Classic is a great way to go. The Music Hall Classic does have a nice wood base. It doesn't have any sort of DJ speed controls or anything like that, which I really like. For this floor model that we have an Audifon Red on there, which is a $100 stylus cartridge, which is a great way to start, and you can upgrade to the blue stylus later down the line. We do highly recommend going with at least a red on one of these, replacing that stock cartridge. That and using a phono preamp in your integrated amp, your receiver if you have an external one. Once you put all that together, the Music Hall Classic does really have a really nice sound. The aesthetics are great, and it's like half the price of the next turntable with this kind of aesthetics. A subwoofer is going to add an entirely new dimension to your system. Speakers like the KEF Q950s they have large woofers, they extend low, they have weight. You're never going to get a speaker that puts out low frequencies that blanket the floor the way that a subwoofer does. And there's nothing that conveys the oomph of your kick drums and things like that like a subwoofer can. On the floor, we have a KEF KC62, which is a phenomenal subwoofer. I have one at home. I'm a big fan. But even something in their Cube series would be probably a little bit more in line with the Q series speakers. So that's Cube subs and Q speakers. But whichever one you get, their DNA is in all of their products. And just looking at this specific system with the Yamaha, the Q950s, and any KEF sub, altogether, it really is just a phenomenal, huge, high-quality system that I think is really synergistic. This is the NAD C3050, very similar to what Yamaha is doing with their receivers. NAD has brought back their aesthetic, VU meters, things like that, wrapped it in a new, modern, integrated amp. You can add a BlueOS chip to the back of this, which gives you basically a node built into it. Really nice streaming system, all built into one. It's a great way to get into this, the hobby while having some old school 2-channel heritage involved. A couple other great products I wanted to share with you guys, but I don't have any in the store at the time being, is the Leek 230, which is an integrated amp. It's more compact size. It sounds great. It has a warmer sound. It's really a nice, Class AB amp. It's been very popular. The Cambridge Audio CXA81 just came out. It doesn't have your phono preamp and a headphone out. They kind of strip some of that stuff out, so you'd have to get into some separates, which is a better place to be anyway. The CXA81 has a phenomenal, clean, spatial sound. In some ways, it probably is going to do that the best, and for the price, I think it's like $1,000. It's a really, really good amp. Everyone that I've sold one to is just... They love theirs. Another great piece that is a little more out of the intermediate budget, but is a phenomenal value, is the Advanced Paris A10. It's a little bit out of the intermediate range for me, but just a little. What's included in this is definitely worth investigating. The amp is phenomenal. Even the A10, there's an A12 above it, but power-wise, build quality-wise, it's the best that we've looked at today for sure. The preamp, big VU meters, and the tube preamp is very nice for your digital sources. It smooths things out. It's a great thing to have. No streamer built in, but this is definitely a piece you want to check out if you're looking to build a system. This isn't going to totally break the budget, but it is a very high quality, high powered 2-channel unit. This Yamaha KEF system has been one of my favorites to demo in the store for people who are just coming in and don't really know what they want, but just want a nice system. Just to kind of go through all the boxes, you have your digital source either with the streaming or using the DAC in the Yamaha. Your analog sources would just be from a nice turntable you add to the system. The speakers in this system are not going to break the bank, but they are going to fill the room. They are extremely clear and the low end is great. If you add the subwoofer, it gets even better. This is a very complete system that sounds incredible. You can mix and match some of the pieces, but this has been one of my favorite to show customers that come into the store. So I have Jeff here. He is our most recent hire here at Just Audio, and I'll be using him as an example to kind of show everybody what it's like coming into the store and have someone take you around and pick out some pieces for a system. When you're kind of putting a whole system together, it makes a lot of sense to begin with the speakers. Usually start by asking some basic questions like, what kind of music do you like to listen to?
A lot of heavy metal, hard rock,
okay.
Classic rock.
Okay. When picking out speakers, I'll kind of consider, the configuration of the drivers, the material of the drivers, and then just overall sound. Is it warm, weighty, clear, analytical, things like that. Generally, for what you've described, there's a speaker that I have in mind, which is next door, which we can go over there and start with.
Okay, sounds great.
So in here is another one of our demo rooms. We have lots of stuff. This is probably one of our most popular speakers that we sell, and it's the Wharfedale Lintons.
Okay.
With heavier music, I do like it. I mean, it obviously has an old school aesthetic and an old school sound, vintage sound, I should say. It has the Kevlar drivers, which give a little bit of weight and warmth. The silk tweeter kind of balance that out so it's not too harsh. And I think for things like rock, especially, and some heavy metal, it translates very well.
No, they look great. That sounds like a great idea.
Once we have figured out what speakers we're going to use and how much power we'll need, we can start to figure out which amp is going to be required. Another big thing when picking that out is what kind of sources you're going to be using. So source material, vinyl, CD, streaming, any thoughts?
A lot of CDs and then probably streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Since we have this here, this is a great option for just affordability, sound-wise, functionality, is the Yamaha series, which I have a RN1000 here.
Okay.
But even RN600 or an RN800, they have a phenomenal DAC. The power rating is 100 watts, which is sufficient for the speakers, the Lintons. It's a 2-channel receiver, so there is streaming, Napster, Sirius, Spotify, Qobuz, whatever you need.
Oh, fantastic. So I can basically just take the phones or the songs that are on my phone and stream them directly to that?
Yes, it will connect with your Wi-Fi network is the easiest way. Much better than doing a Bluetooth streaming situation, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that sounds great. I like the looks of it.
And the DAC is phenomenal. Nice clear Saber chips. So for the CDs, I'm kind of thinking we go with a CD transport. I think that is definitely a nice advantage to go that way if you already have a DAC in your receiver amp, integrated amp. For those that don't know, the CD transport is just simply the CD reader with no DAC included, so it just comes out digitally, either optical or coax in most cases, and it's usually just a little cleaner that way. I'm a CD guy myself, and this is one of my favorite CD transport. It's very popular. It's for the money. It sounds amazing. That is the Audiolab 6000 CDT. Like I said, just reading your CDs, and then it connects optical or coax to the Yamaha, and I think that's a great way to incorporate your CD listening.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of CDs, a large collection. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much clearer, how much more of the different sounds and tones that I can pick up that I may not have in the past. So
yeah,
this looks great. Another quick question: that's a single disc?
Yes. So and I should have asked this before, because we do a lot of, we have the pre-owned, the Mega 400 discs. Most CD transports and for hi-fi, it's a lot of single discs. There's usually a little less noise, and it's all about having that as clear of a sound as possible.
Just was curious. That's fine. I just wanted to know. But I like the looks of that, and I think it would pair well with the Yamaha.
Yeah.
I really like the way they look.
Every hi-fi system, you're considering vinyl, a turntable, just to get that fully analog, warm, just real sound. So this is the Audio-Technica AT-LP 140 XP. That and the AT-LP 120 has been very popular. I'm a big fan of Audio-Technica's turntables for the build quality, but especially the cartridge that you get just out of the box is usually a step up from most starter cartridges. Can definitely be upgraded, but that's a big advantage. Things like curved arm at this price point, that's a nice feature to have. It tracks a little bit better, but I highly recommend them for, especially in your case where you're mainly a CD guy, and you're just looking for something that is quality and solid, but not going too far down that road.
That's great. Yeah, I have some vinyl and I would like to play it, so this would pair well. I like the way it looks.
So we've kind of gone through everything at this point. We have a nice amp to run the system. You can stream to that. You have a CD transport going into the internal DAC. You have the nice turntable to play some records, all going to the Wharfedale Lintons, and that's a nice system right there.
Yeah, it sounds great. Doesn't seem like it's going to really break the bank. So that's a good way to start.